the defense was not great that day, but it was great to see like Brock Purdy under that pressure and just to see how he would handle this type of game. I know he hasn't been trailing by that much in a game, and getting all this experience is perfect leading into the playoffs. Um, I wonder if we want to get into Brock Purdy a little bit. Um, I know we put up a poll on Twitter, and make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Deep Dig Pod so you guys can weigh in on these polls. We want to hear from you guys. Has Brock Purdy earned the starting job next season? 54% of you said yes. 37% of you said there needs to be a quarterback battle in camp. 9% said no. Since taking over as the starter, Brock Purdy has the highest passer rating in the NFL. So, John Jay, why don't you just give us like what you saw from him in that game specifically?
Yeah, so watching Brock Purdy and even going back to his very first game, even though Brock Purdy is 4-0 with the 49ers, he's technically 5-0 because when Jimmy got hurt, the 49ers were losing. But officially, he's 4-0. But he's had 5 good games, and this was a really, really good game for Brock Purdy to show what he. And again, one of the things that most people get wrong with the quarterback is in these situations, this is what quarterbacks, why they get paid the big money when it comes to these situations. And so Brock Purdy really did a lot. And one of the things that Jimmy does not have, that Brock Purdy does not have, is the way he maneuvers. One thing that Kyle has started to do with Brock Purdy is the play action. So the play action has been incorporated again in the offense, which allows their quarterback to roll out, to see the field, survey, extend the plays. So that's one great thing I've seen from Brock Purdy. And when it comes to the poll, like, is Brock Purdy the automatic starter? The answer is no. And the reason why I say that is because we have a quarterback we drafted a few years ago in Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, I've said this about Trey Lance. This guy is one of the most unluckiest human beings on the planet. He got rejected to Minnesota. He had to go to North Dakota. He reduced his talent level, was one of the best in the Division II level, got drafted to the 49ers. Of course, missed a year in his junior year. Back to the 49ers. Back up to Jimmy Garoppolo. Has not played much. Got hurt. So when I look at the 49ers situation, if Trey Lance does pan out, we have one of the most experienced young backups right behind Trey Lance. I still think Trey Lance is still the starter. And if Trey Lance struggles, Trey Lance should have a very short leash because what Brock Purdy is able to do. I think Brock Purdy does not have a lot of pressure because he knows his role is that he's just riding this ship until the season ends. And whatever happens next year, Trey Lance is this team's quarterback. But Brock Purdy has shown that if anything happens to Trey Lance, Brock Purdy has shown that he can take this team and elevate this team much more. Again, no disrespect to Trey Lance. We'll see what happens next year, but Trey Lance is a starting quarterback.
That's a good level. Like, hey, we drafted Trey Lance at number 3. We need Trey Lance to like at least get the opportunity to be a starter. We don't know what we have on our hands. I think going into next season, there does need to be an open like quarterback battle just because of what Brock Purdy has shown as far as his intangibles. And I think that this is also like very good for Trey Lance that Brock Purdy is producing like this because Kyle Shanahan has really felt a lot more comfortable with his play calling with Brock Purdy at the helm. And so if you think about, okay, well, let's put them both on paper. Trey Lance is a better prospect. Okay, well, why am I not doing these same things with Brock Purdy that I could do with Trey Lance? Like, so I think that mentality will move over and Kyle Shanahan might be a little less like stringent with his play calling if Trey Lance does get the starting spot. But I do think there does need to be a quarterback battle moving forward.
I don't know. I don't know, guys. I think we know where I stand. I've been saying since the second we started Brock Purdy that he's the franchise. He's the future of the team. And yeah, I was saying it jokingly all season, but I mean, go back and look. I did say it. So I'm feeling really good about Brock Purdy of where he's at. And at this point, if he takes us to an NFC Championship game, I'm kind of like, do we need to roll the dice on Trey still? Like, can we just kind of see what we have in Brock for a while? Because Trey's going to be under contract no matter what. No one's going to want to trade for like that level of pick without seeing him play and like knowing what they have. And Niners aren't going to get back like great compensation anyways. So both the guys are going to be on the team. I would maybe flip it and give Brock Purdy a medium sized leash next season and see what he can do. And if he starts to fall off and come back down, like, okay, maybe he doesn't have the talent that we see, or he's just kind of more of a average quarterback, then let's, roll with Trey Lance. But it's going to be interesting because Trey Lance is just having another surgery right now. So they say he's going to be ready by camp. I mean, hopefully he's completely healthy going into camp and that really doesn't affect this situation. But we'll see. I mean, only time will tell.